Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the short story anthology Ghosts of Malta from Raconteur Press. This is actually the first ever short story anthology from Raconteur Press. And I picked this up at LibertyCon last year. And so it's been on my shelves for a while, since June of 2024, and I wanted to get to it eventually. And I've gotten to know some of the people at Raconteur Press. They're very nice people, but I wanted to see what the book was like. And this is, as I said, their first book. And so it is a short story anthology with 10 short stories and one history lesson about Malta, or set on Malta. For those who don't know, Malta is an island in the Mediterranean Sea. It's kind of near Sicily, and it's a very small island. And so, when you look it up on the map, you have to like really zoom in and look real closely. And I was interested by the history lesson, which is at the beginning of the book, which is written by Law Dog Ian. I think it's Ian McMurtry is the name of the author, but he writes this kind of history going through what makes Malta so special, talking about the Ottoman times, talking about World War I, World War II, post-World War II. And so the history lesson at the beginning was really fascinating. But the book is 10 short stories set on Malta, and they all have pretty much all of them have like a genre bent to them. They have most of them are like have a little bit of supernatural elements going on, like a ghost here or a creepy voice here or something like that. There's one that's pulpy fantasy. There's one that's kind of more sci-fi-ish. There's one that's just a straight up mystery. There's one that's actually more of a straight up contemporary. And there's stuff like that. And if I were to split up the book, I would say that there are 5 good or great short stories and 5 not good, bad short stories. So it's about a 50% batting average in terms of the number of short stories in here. And that's not a bad average, and it's not, let's say, a great average. It's an average. 5 good stories, 5 bad stories. That's not bad for an anthology. And what made this anthology so interesting to me, at least, is that I particularly liked the first 5 stories. I particularly liked the first 2 stories plus the history lesson, and I particularly liked the last 3 stories. But the 5 that are in the middle didn't connect with me at all. And I was really getting demoralized in the middle, and then I got to the last 3 stories, and they were superb. So the book starts well, dips a bit, and then really picks up. And, the short stories in the middle might work well for you, and you may not like the ones that worked for me. But talking about just a couple of the ones that I particularly liked, I really liked the short story Speak the Word, which is about this woman. She is part of a family that is in the military on Malta, and they're set there, and there's an attack coming. And this woman hears these voices in her head telling her that there's something's wrong, and that they're not looking in the right place. And so that was I think a great short story, and really, in my opinion, did a good job kind of setting the stage. It's the second short story in here. It did a good job setting the stage. Another short story that I really enjoyed was John Van Stry, who's probably the most famous of the authors, or at least the one I know of, who participated in this collection. He wrote a short story that's very much like a pulp short story. He wrote the short story Partners? ? It is about this guy who is a monster hunter who is sent to Malta to hunt a monster. He is contacted by one type of monster and is asked to hunt another type of monster. And this is a very pulpy action story. If you've read something like Monster Hunter International by Larry Correia, very similar vibes, very similar storytelling type. And, it's very genre and is not plausible, but it was a fun story to read. So I had a blast with that one. And then the penultimate short story is titled Breathe Free. And that short story is about this journalist who is uncovering corruption at the highest levels of the Maltese government. And she is, her family's not trusting her. She's the government is out to get her, and she feels like she's going paranoid. And that was a great short story. So those three were the best. There were two others that I really enjoyed. Guardians of Malta was a good short story, and the Some Dude Chronicles was a good short story. But the big three that I spent time talking about, those were the really, really excellent short stories in here. And the other two I would say were good. And then the other five, I don't think were good. But and in fact, like, I wanted to put the book down during the other five, but during the main five that were good for me, it really worked, and I was really hooked and really interested. So good on them for getting an average batting average. I think the book, if it works for a couple things. If you like short stories, then you might enjoy the book. If you like kind of European history type thing, I think you'll enjoy this because it blends kind of European history, because it's set in all time periods. There's some back from the Ottoman time periods. There's some from the modern day, but you'll enjoy the historical elements here. And if you're a fan of just genre storytelling, like supernatural stories and fantasy type stories, I think you'll probably enjoy this. Now, someone I saw online commented that, man, this is a really niche topic for a short story collection. And it is. Certainly it's a niche topic. But this was apparently successful enough that the publisher ended up doing 4 short story collections set on Malta. So evidently it's popular enough. And this is what really got Raconteur Press started. I've done some interviews with them. Just look up Raconteur Press, Jonathan Cohn. You'll find those 2 interviews. Really great people there. And it's really funny because I just happened to pick this up. And then something happened with a book news thing. And I'm doing an interview with an author from Raconteur, John Van Stry. But it was just really interesting timing that I had already put this on the March TBR. But I had a blast with most of this. The other ones, not so much. I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's worth it, but you'd have to determine for yourself. It does come in an ebook form. I also want to point out that there is a new updated cover if you want a new, more stylized cover that they published, but they still have the original OG cover book available on Amazon. So that is my review of Ghosts of Malta from Raconteur Press. Let me know your thoughts if you have read it in the comments section down below. And what other short story collections do you recommend? Until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.